Hey, what's up guys, this is Flowrider666 coming to you from the 21 Immortals with another cool tech video regarding the Warden. And so we're actually going to be covering a shoulder bash and everything you need to know to utilize it correctly. And yeah, so we actually got a whole, series coming out on the Warden, so if you're really interested in mastering this character, feel free to check it out. It should take you to Prestige 50, maybe even above. And yeah, let's jump right in. Okay, so the first thing we need to know how to do is how to even initiate the shoulder bash, right? So it's a pretty straightforward mechanic. It's you can dash to whichever side you feel like, right, left, back, forward, it doesn't matter. And then after you dash, you can just initiate it by pressing your guard break button, whatever console you're on. That's going to be different. If you're playing on PC, that's going to be different as well. But yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. Another great way to initiate it is after you, successfully land the light attack. So, you land the light attack, and then you just fucking shoulder bash. Light attack, shoulder bash, light attack, shoulder bash. And you can just keep this up, So, there's actually a third way of, initiating it, and that's after performing a light attack and hitting the enemy, where they're guarding. But the trick to that is they have to be out of stamina. So if the enemy's out of stamina and you hit them, even if they manage to put their guard over it, you can still initiate a shoulder bash after. So yeah, so those are the three ways you can initiate one. Either you dash and then initiate, or you land a light attack, or you kind of fail the light attack, but they're out of stamina, so you can still do it. Yeah. Okay guys, so now that we know how to initiate it, let's talk about when to initiate it. So, the shoulder bash is really useful for just harassing the enemy. So let's take a look at this. If you dodge a heavy, you can just dodge into a shoulder bash, and it's just going to give you that guaranteed double strike. So that's just, first surefire way of really hitting the enemy. Secondly, you could basically do an infinity chain. So, especially lower tier lobbies, this kind of harassment works well. You can even get maybe 2 consecutive hits in higher tier lobbies, but if you don't add feints, which we'll get to later, you do run the risk of them dodging it and then getting guaranteed hits on you instead. Next up, you can initiate it after you've got some time. You can charge it up and then really go to town on your enemy. I mean, you get a guaranteed top heavy after fully initiating it. So that's just something to consider. So again, we have after either evading to perform a quick counter, or to harass the enemy. Those are really the 2 top priority ways of utilizing it, apart from feints, which we'll talk about later in the video. Yeah. Alright, so now that we've talked about, how to initiate it and when to initiate it, let's see what you actually get out of it. So the shoulder bash, it's a pretty straightforward thing. After a light shoulder bash, you basically get 2 guaranteed light attacks. So shoulder bash, and then just double tap the light attack button to get those in really nicely. I mean, you can get a top one, but it will only give you 1. It won't give you 2. It will only give you 1 guaranteed. So yeah, so that's what you get after just a light shoulder bash. But if you do charge it up to heavy, you can get any heavy attack out of it guaranteed. The best option, of course, being the upper heavy, because it does the most damage. So there you go, that's the light one. And then, if you charge it up, you can get the top heavy. So it does a ton of damage, and it's great for that kind of stuff. Yeah. So again, just 2 light attacks or 1 top heavy. I mean, you could charge it up and then just do a light attack, but that why would you? Doesn't make a lot of sense. So yeah. Okay, so what do you need to watch out for when performing the shoulder bash? So this happens frequently in higher tier lobbies. It's not seen as much in lower tier lobbies, and it's that people will interrupt, you know, your shoulder bash. Because you do get a shield when you charge it up and, you know, jump away, so, you know, you can't be interrupted. But that only, you know, sets in once you begin the dash. So, you know, a frequent occurrence, you know, when you're playing against Lawbringer, for example, is that, you know, you'll kind of do the dashes and maybe get some hits in, and then you kind of want to charge it up, so you dash and, you know, you're ready to charge it up, and they will, you know, they'll poke you with a light attack, and that will actually take you out of the charging up and just gets you back into regular combat. So that's one of the things to watch out for. Secondly, if you shoulder bash an enemy and you miss, they get a guaranteed either guard break, or, you know, they can do any other attack that they want to, basically, except a heavy attack. They're gonna get that if they act quick enough. So you really don't want to miss the shoulder bashes, because you will be punished heavily for them. Yeah, so just be careful with that. And that's gonna take us to our last segment, and that's, you know, when to feint. And the shoulder bashes, they're really all about the feints, because everyone's gonna be able to dodge you, I would say about 30 maybe 20 seconds into your first encounter. So after that, the shoulder bash, if they figured out, you know, your moveset and what you can do with it, without feigning, it really doesn't get you far. So what you want to do is you want to mix up your gameplay. So you want to maybe do like a light attack and then charge it up, feint it, you know, and that lets you grab them. So you can really take control of the fight if you master your feints in the shoulder bash, because, you know, I can go in and I can, you know, hit him twice, you know, with the light attack, then shoulder bash to feint away from the shoulder bash into a guard break, and if they, you know, try to jump away from the shoulder bash, then, you know, you got him, and then you got that block break, and, you know, you can punish him for it. Works this, you know, and you can really hold out the feint. I mean, you can basically stand there and then just wait for them to move, and then if they move, you know, you guard break. But again, you know, like we said earlier, you just want to watch out for them kind of tapping you with a light attack when you're in that whole charging up parameter. So one way to avoid that is to maybe, you know, get some distance in, because the charge up will actually take you quite a way. But yeah, so again, it's all about feint. So just before we finish this video, a really good strategy is to, you know, do 2 R1s, then, you know, feint once, kind of get that punishment in, and then the next time you do it, you actually go through with it, and then just keep up this chain. Once they figure out, you know, that you got maybe a 1-1 pattern or 2-1 pattern, just kind of switch it up. Also throw some longer, you know, charges in there, just to be sure that you get them. And then that should really take shoulder bash to a new level once you master that. So, you know, just kind of getting a lot of feints in there, especially utilizing the shoulder bash, is what the Warden's all about. You know, he does have that dent in his armor, you know, on that one shoulder where you can kind of see, yeah, he's, you know, meant to bash into enemies there. Yeah, so you really need that. Okay, so just to recap, you initiate the shoulder bash basically after you dash into any direction or after you land a light attack. Okay, so utilize it, you use it after you dodge a heavy attack, or even after you dodge a light attack, really after any of that stuff. Or if you just want to harass the enemy a little bit and want to land heavier hits, that's when you use it. You do get 2 light attacks guaranteed from a light shoulder bash, and from a fully charged shoulder bash you can get a top heavy, which is just sweet. Just be careful, you know, of people either figuring out your pattern or tapping you out of it. So that's just, those are your biggest issues, especially with that light shoulder bash. If they do manage to dodge that, then yeah, you're gonna get punished big time. And lastly, it's all about the feinting. Just keep that in mind. The shoulder bash is a great tool in and of itself, but you really need to master the feinting, because that's what makes the character great, you know. And yeah, if you like the tech video, be sure to check out our other Warden tech videos. We also got tech videos from the Raider and other Vanguard characters coming in. And yeah, if you like, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. And 21 Immortals out.